Hey everybody, this is Tracy here for another edition of A View from Tracy's Point, and we are here to recap American Crime Season 3, Episode 7. So, I just did the Greenleaf video, and I looked like I had a black eye in the video, so I kind of moved the lighting around, so hopefully I don't look like I'm suffering from domestic violence in this video, but I assure you it's the shadows, it's not that I've been hit in the eye. So the season started out with great potential, but kind of fizzled out towards the end. So these storylines deserved way more than 8 episodes to properly develop and resolve each issue, and I honestly don't feel like ABC does enough to promote this show, and the 10 p.m. slot on Sunday nights I think is not a good fit for the show, and that they could do so much more for it than trying to cram these great scenes, these great storylines, and I don't know, it just feels kind of disappointing that they just don't do more with this show, or maybe it's just the American public that they don't want to deal with these heavy issues. But anyway, I love the show. 1 episode left in the season, and let's go ahead and get started with the recap. So the show opens with Gabrielle in the kitchen tending to that burn on her arm, and it appears to have gotten infected and she's in extreme pain. So Kimara is meeting with the head of the nonprofit, and she is told that they have to make cuts to the program, and the lady doesn't want to make cuts to the services that they provide. She wants to cut some of the staff. Then we have a scene with Kimara where she's in like a office supply store, and she's looking for a journal, so she's decided to doctor her notes for Abby so that Abby can get the grant. And she and Greg meet, and she hands him the journal, but he tells her that he doesn't need it, and he just needed her to confirm the numbers that Abby gave him. So she went through all that trouble for nothing. And then he lets her know that Abby will get the grant that he was working on, and that he also has taken a position with her nonprofit. So of course this upset Kimara that she went through the trouble to rewrite that whole book and change those numbers. And so she decides that and then she was also upset because now she knows that Greg knew that the numbers were fake and that she had changed them. So she decides to go see Reggie and talk to him about, what's going on. And Reggie basically lets her know that it's all a game and that there's nothing she can do about it. So she might as well just go along with the flow and get out of it what she can. So Kimara says that America has become the place where if you have no morals, you get rewarded. And she says that she needs time off and may go on vacation to Vietnam. Now, I don't know how she chose Vietnam out of all the places in the world, but I guess it's just that giving spirit that she has, that she wants to be around people that she can help who are in need. And so she says she also wants to find another job. And so Reggie tells her that she cares too much and that that's why all of this is such a burden. But she has got to, release some of this stuff, or the whole system is going to continue to bring her down. So the scene goes over to Jeanette, and she is awakened by sounds coming from the kitchen. So she gets up and realizes that it's Raelyn, and she's in the kitchen cleaning up, and she's upset. That Jeanette is laying around the house doing nothing, and that she couldn't even clean the kitchen up. So Jeanette lets her know that she was teaching the girls how to cook, and then something happened with one of the girls, and then they got distracted, and that's why she didn't clean up the kitchen. So it may be time for Jeanette to leave because, like I say, Raelyn is bothered that she doesn't have a job, and she's making these little snarky comments to her. So the following day, Jeanette is on the computer doing a job assessment when a robocall comes in, and it's actually the sheriff's office or the police department, and they're calling to remind Raelyn that she has to go in for drug testing and that she has to do it within 24 hours or they will issue a warrant for her arrest. So obviously Miss Raelyn hasn't been doing these drug tests like she's telling people that she is. So when Raelyn comes in, oh, and guys, I think I pointed this out in the last video. I know her name is Raelyn, but for some reason I keep calling her Raelyn. I don't know. But whether I say Raelyn or Raelyn, y'all know who I'm talking about. So she comes in and Jeanette is waiting for her. And so Jeanette is upset over the message and asks Raelyn, is she still getting high? And so she's being a little judgmental. But I guess when you deal with people that have drug addictions, they will look you straight in the face and tell you a lie. So you just have to be straight and upfront with them. So Raelyn lets her know that between the county, social services, and her 2 jobs that she gets tested 4 times. So Jeanette has nothing to worry about. She's getting tested and she's clean and she doesn't have a problem. So Jeanette suggests that they go on a vacation to get away from it all. So that the following day we see Raelyn dropping her kids off. And I don't know if it was a relative or a friend of the family, a neighbor, or who this lady was, but she dropped the girls off and told them that she had to go, to an adult place or something like that. And I'm like, okay, what the hell was that about? Y'all getting ready to go to the spa and the kids couldn't come. But then we have Jeanette and Raelyn going to get the drug test done at the probation office. So Jeanette asks Raelyn, how did she do it with the girls and everything? And then Raelyn's like, I'm fine. I want to know how you're doing, Jeanette. And she tells her that she saw the job assessment and that it had to be really hard for her. And so Jeanette tells her that, she's not in a good place because she realizes now that at her age, she has nothing and she doesn't know how to do anything, and she just really feels scared, about where she's at. So I think the reality of both of their situations is setting in because Miss Raelyn went in to get that drug test done. And next thing we know, the police was coming in and they handcuffed her ass and put her into custody immediately. So Jeanette tries to find out, where they're taking her, but the officers, they ignored her, and so she was just standing there like, oh my God. So Jeanette goes to see JD for help and, to get Raelyn out of jail and to hire her a lawyer. But he tells her that he can't help her because he took the blame for the fire where all of the migrant workers were killed and that he has to go to jail, that he's going to do time in jail. So he suggests to her that she go to Carson, but then Jeanette's like she can't go to Carson because if she goes to Carson, then he's going to go to Lorianne, and Lorianne is going to let him help her. But JD is like, there's nothing I can do to help you. I'm sorry, all of this has just come down on me. And Jeanette is upset because she can't believe that JD allowed Lorianne to talk him into taking the blame for everything that happened. And then he told her that it was his fault because part of his job was that he was responsible for securing housing for the migrant workers. So either way, it was going to fall back on him once the investigation got done. But although he's going to spend a lot of time in jail, it's easier this way that he just took the plea bargain for, being responsible for what happened. We have a scene where Jeanette goes to see the person who was watching the girls, to let her know what happened. So the lady tells Jeanette that all she has to do is call the jail and they'll tell her how much Raelyn's bond is. And I'm thinking like, dang, Jeanette, is your life that sheltered that you didn't know that all you had to do was call the doggone jailhouse? Like, even I know that. And so she also lets her know that the girls have been staying with her a lot. So the whole spiel with Raelyn working the 2 jobs and working hard and all this stuff, all that was a lie. Raelyn been out there getting high. Then we move over to Dustin at the webcam house. And so he's still upset over Shay's death and he's talking with Jeremy. And Jeremy is basically letting him know that Everett is kind of like segregating him from everybody else because he's afraid that he is going to say something that he shouldn't say and that, they don't want him to be on the webcam because he might break down or he might reveal something to one of the people about Shay's death and that, Dustin just needs to chill out and give Everett time to get over this thing. So then they have a scene where Everett comes in and tells Dustin that they need to go to the store. And Dustin is like really paranoid. And so he's like, okay, well, can Jeremy come along? And then Jeremy's looking there like, I don't want to be a part of this. I don't want to witness nothing. But then Everett is just annoyed. And he's like, yeah, Jeremy can come on, boy. Come on and let's go to the store. So when they get to the store, Everett doesn't allow Jeremy to get out the car and go inside with Dustin. So Dustin goes in by himself and he gets a basket and he's dumping all these cleaning products and toilet paper and paper towels and stuff into this little basket. And he comes upon a man who's at the frozen food section, and he tells the guy that he needs help. But then the guy, he was like a migrant worker or something, but he told Dustin that he doesn't want to get involved, and the man runs out of the store. So when Dustin gets up to the counter and the cashier is ringing the stuff up, he asks him, is there a bathroom in the store? And the guy tells him, yes, it's in the back of the building to the left or something. So Dustin goes to the bathroom, and then when he gets into the hallway, he kind of like panics and freaks out and ends up running out the back door and running down the street. And I'm thinking, okay, so he must be knew that Everett was going to try and kill him, and that's why he was like freaking out. Then Kimara's in her office and she's packing up all her boxes when her phone starts to ring, and so she tries with all her might not to answer it, but that's just the person she is. So she goes ahead and she takes the call, and it's the assistant district attorney, and she tells her that they have a runaway who may have been involved in trafficking. And so Kimara is like, okay, I thought you guys didn't have time for the kids that are being trafficking, that you were focusing all your attention on, what was going on with the migrant workers. But the ADA says that she needs Kimara's help and begs her to come in. So then the next thing, Kimara is asking, the standard questions. When the camera pans around, we realize that it's Dustin that she's talking to. So then we go over to Nicholas and Claire. Oh my Lord. So Nicholas decides to take the bad deal, and to make matters worse, he and Guy get into an argument. So let me stick a pin right here, because in the previous 2 episodes, I could never figure out what Guy's name was. And so I kept saying, he's talking to this guy that works for him, and I think the guy is in management, and it comes out that the guy's name is actually Guy. So I thought that was funny, and I had to laugh at myself. So Nicholas is on the brink of a nervous breakdown, and Guy argues that, he has been almost like a partner in the firm since Claire left. And then the reason that he presented the offer to Nicholas was because he had to, but he still thinks it's a horrible deal, and he wants more time to, try and find something better. But the mentioning of Claire's name only angers Nicholas more, and so instead of offering Guy 6 months severance package, he lets him go right then and tells him that, you don't get anything. And so Guy, was like, I have like basically kept this company running, while you go through your little mood swings and everything, but, forget about it. And so Guy storms out. So Nicholas returns home, and Claire comes in and lets him know that Guy has called and told her, everything that happened, that Nicholas fired her, and, he's not going to get a severance package, and that he was going to sign this deal with this company, and it was a horrible deal. And so Claire is upset, about learning what he's doing. And so she says that she could have helped him if he had simply talked to her, and she wanted a family that mattered, and all he wanted to do was talk about furniture all the time as the reason why she left the company. So he starts yelling at her and telling her, that she's nothing, and pretty much like degrading her the same way he had did Guy. And so Claire lets him know that she made life while all he did was make furniture. And I'm just like, oh boy, y'all just cutting deep today. So Claire tells Nicholas that he's not a partner in the company any longer, and that he doesn't even own one thing that mattered, which was his name, because once he signs the paper, these people are going to change the name of the company and everything. And then they're going to eventually buy him out of the company, and he's going to be bought out really cheaply because these people have no respect for him. They just want his business. So Nicholas felt that when she left the business, that she also left him, and he tells her that she can't deal with the fact that she no longer matters in his life. And so it was like they were having two conversations, but the conversations were not with each other. And Nicholas is just, I don't know what he is so angry about. Like, is he angry that Claire left the business, or because she didn't like the business as much as he likes the business? Because she's telling him basically that he's obsessed and that the obsession is killing him. Downstairs, Gabrielle and Nikki can hear them arguing, and so Nicholas storms out, but realizes that they were sitting there, so he turns around and comes back into the house. But when he comes back in and heads towards the living room area, Gabrielle like jumps up in a really protective stance, and so then Nicholas is shocked, and he kind of feels like, why does she have the need to protect Nikki from me? And so then he kind of like, okay, whatever, and then walks out the house. So Gabrielle is cleaning Claire's bedroom the following day when she breaks down and starts to cry. And so she decides to run away, but realizes that she needs her passport, which is in the safe. So then she tries to break into the safe, but her attempts are unsuccessful. And so as she's leaving, she sees Nikki lying on the sofa and decides to take him with her for some damn reason. I don't know. So the two of them end up at the park, and then they're just sitting on the bench. Gabrielle's like, doesn't know what to do. And so Nikki says that he is hungry. And also there were some other women at the park, and I think they were like talking about Gabrielle because she was sitting there with that suitcase, and they were trying to figure out what was going on. So then Gabrielle decides to take Nikki to a diner, and they end up ordering just one meal because she knew I didn't think she had any money. But when the check comes back, it was for like $12 and something. So she goes into her wallet, and she only had like $6 or $7 and then some change in her change purse. And so she dumps that out on the table, and her and Nikki leave the restaurant. But then the waitress realizes that she, skimped her on the check. And so she's like running out to Gabrielle saying, hey, wait, you didn't pay your whole bill. And it just so happens that there are two police officers coming to the restaurant at the same time as Gabrielle and Nikki are walking out. So they're like walking really fast, and the waitress is yelling after her. And then one of the officers is like, excuse me, but don't you hear her talking to you? Like, hold on, wait a minute, like, hold up. But I don't know if Gabrielle like didn't understand what he was saying, or she was just upset. But anyway, they end up being taken into custody. They take Nikki back to the house. And we have a scene where the police are asking Nicholas and Claire to identify Gabrielle. So I guess at some point they had called the police also and mentioned that Nikki was missing. So then in the house, they're talking to a detective, and the detective asks them what is Gabrielle's name, and then Nicholas didn't even know what Gabrielle's last name was. And I'm like, damn, you got this woman living in your house, caring for your son, and you don't even know what her name is. So then they start talking about how, Gabrielle tried to break into the safe, and they didn't know what, her intentions were. So then Claire kind of takes over the conversation and, says that her name is Gabrielle Duran, that she came from Haiti. And she said that she didn't realize that Gabrielle had all these issues. And so she's painting this picture that Gabrielle, has some mental problems, and that she was a cutter and she kept hurting herself. And that at one point she had witnessed her twist Nikki's wrist or something. And so then she asks what is going to happen to Gabrielle. And so the police officer or the detective tells her that they're going to take her to some hospital and put her under a mental evaluation. And then they'll determine like what her intentions were as far as Nikki was concerned. And from there, they'll determine whether to press charges or not. So after the police officers leave, Nicholas, tells Claire that they're done, that he's leaving, and that, they'll both get what they want out of the deal, that he'll get his company and she will get Nikki. And so Claire is like, basically, you can't even say his name, just say your son's name. And once again, Nicholas refuses to say Nikki's name, and I just don't understand. Like, it has to be deeper than the fact that she used a sperm donor. I'm wondering, like, did she use the sperm of somebody that they know, which is causing so much animosity for him? Or if he blames the money that they spent on the fertility treatment on as to why the company is in such bad shape. I don't know what's going on, but he has some serious issues. Claire has some serious issues. So the show ends with Gabrielle at the hospital, and a nurse comes in, and she's frantically, trying to ask for help, but she's talking in French, which was the same thing that happened when they had her in the back of the police car at the Claire and Nicholas' house. She kept, yelling in French, and the police officers were like, calm the hell down. Like, what are you talking about? And so the nurse who comes in doesn't pay her any attention. She goes over to the IV and shoots some medicine in there, which causes Gabrielle to pass out. So, like I mentioned earlier, there's only one more episode remaining to the season. So I don't know how they're going to wrap all this up, but, we'll have to wait and see. So that's it for me, guys. Leave your comments below, rate the video, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. And until the next time, well, until Sunday night, guys, I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.